So hello and welcome to my channel for 2018. As I told you at the end of last year, I'm going to be doing a lot more videos this year, and I thought what best to start with a video all about me. So you can hopefully find out a little bit more about me and why I might tweet the things I do, post the things I do on social media, and generally why I am me. So let's start at the very beginning. My full name is Amy Victoria Wright, and I was born on the 17th of December 1991 in a hospital in Dumfries, and I am from Annan, which is a small town in southwest Scotland, not far from Gretna Green if you didn't know what it was. And I was the only child of Mr. William Wright and Mrs. Edna Wright. So I decided to not be simple from the start, is all I'm going to say. When I was born, a duct that is meant to form between two of your arteries when you're born failed to do so in my case. This meant that my heart had to work faster to pump the blood around my heart, and it also meant that my deoxygenated and oxygenated blood would mix, which isn't good for anyone, but especially when your heart is so small, being a baby. Now usually this is dealt with by an operation through an umbrella-shaped device, but of course, my arteries were too small, so it meant I couldn't have this operation, which meant I was a perfect candidate for a new technique pioneered by Professor Derek Riddell from Germany in collaboration with York Hill Hospital for Sick Children in Glasgow. The new operation was done by keyhole surgery, and I had a stainless steel coil fitted to my heart. The speed of the surgery meant I was up a few hours later asking for some toast and orange juice, and it meant my recovery was a lot more quicker than it could have been. And as I was one of the first patients, not only in Scotland but also in the UK, to have this operation, I was in the paper. I was in the Sunday Times in Scotland on the 13th of March 1994. That's me. I don't think I've changed much, but that is little me at literally hours after my operation. So, yeah. So when I was being treated at York Hill for my heart condition, at one point I think I was lying down for either my operation or just as a bit of a checkup, and one of the doctors noticed that my left leg was at an unnatural angle. So they asked my mum and dad if I was walking, and no, I wasn't. So when I had operation, I wasn't walking, so I was between 2 and 3, which is quite uncommon not to be walking. So this prompted the doctors and consultants to dig a little deeper, do lots of tests to see what I had wrong with me, because there had to be something if I wasn't walking at that age. So eventually they came up that I was diagnosed with what you call dyspraxia. Now, dyspraxia is the immaturity of the organisation of movement. Basically, every movement that you make is your brain telling that part of your body to make movement. And in my case, it will either work, it totally won't work, so there's no way I can do that movement, or I can kind of do it and I look clumsy or ungainly, or it just looks a bit weird. Dyspraxia affects every aspect of my life, whether it be physically, socially, emotionally, or learning. There's no cure. I've got to live with this the rest of my life, and all I can do is adapt my life to live around it, and know that I have certain boundaries, but also know that I've got certain boundaries that I can try and push and trying to prove to people that I can do things. Now, I won't go too much into dyspraxia because I have got a whole video coming up dedicated to dyspraxia, because it's a large topic to discuss. So now we come to the start of primary school. Primary school for me is one of those bittersweet moments. I had a lot of fun at the beginning of primary school, and I met some very inspirational teachers who at the time made me want to be a primary school teacher. But of course, I was different. There was something different from me. I wasn't like every other child in my class. It wasn't like any of my peers. I just didn't fit in, and I think at that time no one really understood what dyspraxia was and the best way to support me and the best way to probably tell the children in my class that there is something wrong with Amy, but there's a reason. And just because you can't do something like, for example, a forward roll or ride a bike, and I'm now 26 and I still can't do those things, but there's many more things that she can do, so we need to focus on what she can do rather than what she can't do. And yes, I was bullied from around about primary 4 to the end of my primary school. So it was about 7 when I got started bullying to up to the age of 11, 12. Which is hard on anyone to be bullied. It makes you question yourself, it makes you think, what's wrong with me, why am I different, why do they not like me? But ultimately, when you grow up, you learn it's okay to be different and it's okay to be yourself. Now on to secondary school. Not gonna lie, I hated it. Hated secondary school even more than I hated primary school. I was once again bullied from literally first year to 6th year. The only good thing about secondary school was the fact I met one of my best friends now, who was a very close friend then. So we've known each other since 2003 and school show. Yes. I was only in the chorus, but it was something fun to do and something that I enjoyed. And I also used to help out at events that the school would happen, mainly because me and my friend were dependable and they could rely on us to do the job properly. I passed secondary education with good grades. I'm not going to lie, they could have been better, but they could have equally been worse. But they weren't quite enough to get to uni to do what I wanted to do then, which is primary teaching. And secondary school was, especially the beginning, was a time when I really did question who I was. You know, my dad had a struggle getting me to school when I was in first and second year because I didn't want to go to school because I was being bullied constantly. I was made to feel like I really was different. I really didn't fit in. I wasn't the norm. I wasn't what you expect a 12 and 13-year-old to be like. Yeah, I hated the stairs because they're so busy. I wasn't really good at PE, not gonna lie. Still hate it. Rounders and a dyspraxic was never going to mix well together. And, for example, I couldn't do things like the high jump and I couldn't do the hurdles. I was quite quiet. I was well behaved. I didn't really get in trouble that much. I kept myself to myself. But there was these constant bullies that put me down, and at one point I would question, why me? Why did I have to dyspraxia? Why did I have to be different? Why does my family and life have to be different from everyone else? Why us? It's not fair. It always happens to us and no one else. So there was a point in my secondary school education where I would say I probably did suffer from depression, or certainly symptoms of it, and part of that probably still carries on into my adult life. But when you're 12 and 13, it's quite hard to take. Now we have to skip back a few years, and I'm not going to lie, this little bit of the video is probably the toughest thing I'm probably ever going to film, so let's just go with it. So obviously I told you I had a mum and a dad, but that all changed over the 19th and 20th of January 2000 when I was only 8 years old. I'd come back from a day at school and I knew mum was ill, but we just thought she had the cold, kind of the bugs that are going on at the time in January. So she did my homework with me, she went for a bath, but then she went to bed early. And then I remember that I went through to her room to say goodnight to her. At the time it was my bedtime. But there was something not right about mum. Mum had stopped breathing and had been sick and was very unwell. Dad called the ambulance, called family members. Mum was taken to hospital, but sadly she didn't survive. So my mum died on the 20th of January 2000 when I was only 8 years old. She died of a bleed to the brain or a stroke. We had no prior warning this was going to happen. Mum was perfectly healthy and fine before, she was just ill. So then it became me and Dad. You know, it was tough being father and daughter and me being the age I was, But we made good of it. We're our own little team. I think we definitely helped each other out. And I think we'd definitely be lost if we didn't have each other. And I remember Dad talking that me and Dad built up our little bond when I was really, really young. And I think we kept that going. Unfortunately, in 2003, before I started secondary school, Dad went to a routine dentist appointment, but something wasn't right, and he was referred to hospital for further tests. It was found that my dad had cancer of the mouth. He went through courses of radiotherapy, operations and treatments. And we generally, at some point, thought he was getting better. I mean, we managed to go on holiday twice in those years. We managed to do lots of fun things. I remember going to a few football matches. And we definitely had a good father-daughter bond, and life was great, life was fun. He was still ill, he wasn't his usual self, but he was still playing his snooker that he loved. And he was still having his social life and doing what he wanted to do. But then sadly, towards the end of 2009, my dad was diagnosed with cancer for a second time. And this time it was cancer of the larynx, which is your voice box. Now the best way to cure this type of cancer is to remove your voice box. So my dad's larynx was moved in quite a major surgery. I was in hospital for a while. And at the time he was in hospital, I also became 18. And started my new job at Tesco, which is where I still am now. So Dad was in hospital, and we knew when he came out he could get better. He could still talk with his vague Scottish accent, which was important to him. And he could still be the dad he wanted to be. But unfortunately, once again, science and everything else decided no. And Dad became ill again and kept getting infection after infection. Nothing was really working. Had very few close calls where I had to step up as a very young person and become Dad's carer. I was Dad's carer in a vague sense from basically when he started his journey with cancer. So I grew up very, very quickly. And I had to start to learn stuff about the house. But it was definitely once he left hospital after his larynx operation that I really stepped up and was starting to do things like cooking, shopping, things you don't always learn when you're 17, 18 years old, but I had to. Dad wasn't eating, and there was no way I was going to make my dad make me a meal that he couldn't eat. That just wasn't fair on him. So we thought Dad was going to get better once again, but unfortunately, around April time 2010, Dad was diagnosed with the third type of cancer, and this type was terminal. There was nothing that could be done. Well, we could have had more radiotherapy and more chemotherapy, but it was decided amongst us all the best thing to do was just to carry on, because the chemotherapy and radiotherapy probably could have made him worse than he was. But we decided that we would make the most and get those extra few months in. But unfortunately, Dad went downhill quite quickly. He lost a lot more weight. He changed a lot of his appearance. And I had to really step up once again. So I was ordering his medicine, helping him make up his medicine, helping him take his medicine, helping him with his dressings when the nurses weren't coming in if he had to be changed. I really had to step up and grow up and become a carer and a sort of nurse to my dad. But what else are you meant to do? That's the person who brought you up. That's the person who loved for you, and that's the person who cared for you. And you've got to do that in return. You've got to care for them. Obviously, most people would expect to do that a lot later in life, but I just had to do it earlier. And then one weekend, it went even worse, and Dad really changed in one weekend. At one point, he didn't even know who I was. I didn't even realise I was his daughter. I was Amy. I was there to look after him. I was there to help him. But somehow, with the help of me and family, we managed to get him back into hospital. And on Wednesday, the 3rd of November 2010, at approximately 6:15, my dad passed away at the Alexandra Unit Dunfermline Galway Royal Infirmary Hospital, Dunfermline, Scotland. And I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. So by that age, I was nearly 19, and I had lost both my parents. I had dyspraxia. I had all these differences. I had all these troubles. I had all this going on, but somehow there was something in me. There was something there from mum, from dad, from everything else that told me that you can't give up. That's what people want you to do. That's what the bullies want you to do. That's what probably people around you think you're going to do. But no, I wasn't going to give up. I was going to prove that I can do this, that I can live on my own, I can be my own person, and I can keep a job, and I can do everything else I want to do. So I've now lived on my own since 2011, and we are now 2018. And I'm still here. I still look after myself. We'll try to. And I'm still here, and I'm still the person I want to be. So once again, we're going to jump back a little bit, and I'm going to take you back to 2003. So that was the time I started secondary school, like I said, and when I really wasn't at the best. And my dad noticed this change in his daughter, and he decided that something had to change. One of his friends was a minister, but also was a youth worker. So my dad took me along to the group where he was a youth worker at the local community centre. And I began there. So I was there as a young person, and then I helped out at their summer projects and started helping out a bit more, and then helped with their groups for younger children, so for primary school age, and just became part of the team, helping them out. And it was just so great because I think for the first time I kind of found out who I was a little bit, and I was liking this change, and it was something to distract me from school and from everything else that was going on. It was my time. It was my time to be me, my little escape. And it was through my work at the community centre that I got in touch or met the Youth Issues Unit, which was part of the local council. And I loved my time at the Youth Strategy Gazette group. I met some amazing youth workers and support workers who still today that I owe them so much for making me who I am. Through that work, I did lots of work both nationally and locally that really changed the minds of people and really brought forward changes into policies and procedures and local youth work. I also, in my time, which was a couple of years, did over 500 hours of voluntary work, including a presentation to COSA, which is the Convention of Scottish Local Authorities, where we won a silver award for one of our projects, and I had to do part of the presentation for that. And I did many residentials and talks and speeches and loved it. So with the work at the Youth Issues Unit, I finally found my confidence. I was confident. I was a person who had confidence for the first time ever. I think I truly found me. I found who I was. I think at that point, I realised I was destined to help people, and there was something about me that needed to help people. But also, I finally found people who believed in me, who listened to me, who wanted me to help what they were doing, who understood me as well and understood why I couldn't do something, or if I chose not to take part in an icebreaker or an activity that we did because I didn't feel comfortable with it. They understood it. And when you have dyspraxia or an unseen disability, that's quite a really good thing for someone to have, to know that they're actually taking you as yourself, but with your differences, and they know that that's the reason. When I was there, I attended a local event hosted by DG Voice. DG Voice is the voice of disabled people in Dunfermline Galway. And I basically went there to just share my opinions on what needed to be changed for young people with disabilities in this area. And there I met Heather. Now, you can always say that you make the changes in your life, you make you. But quite a few of us need that one person to unlock the key and to really get to the heart of what you want to do and who you are. and I found that in Heather. At the time, Heather was a development manager for DG Voice, and I became involved in the group of what we're going to do after this conference and the results that we found. And through local funders, we decided that we would create a cafe. And that is where The Usual Place comes. So I've been involved in The Usual Place since the very beginning in 2011. Through the consulting we did, the interviews, doing the building work, not personally. And just finding out what the young people of that area wanted and what they wanted to learn and what they wanted this Usual Place, which was their place, to be like. And so now I am the chair of the board of directors of The Usual Place. I'm beginning my 3rd year as chair, and while the role is very still new to me and poses a lot of challenges, it is one that I know is made for me and is something that I'm meant to do. I see my role as chair as sharing the story of The Usual Place and what we do, sharing our values and our aims and why we come to work every day and do the job we do. But I also want to think I'm some sort of an inspiration to the young people that we have in our company, because I know what it feels like to be them. I've been bullied, I've been put down, I've been told you can't do something, you can't achieve something. And I've now had someone who's told me I can achieve something, I can do something. And this is what The Usual Place has done. So, all I want to say is, just because we have an additional support need or a disability doesn't mean that we don't want an education, training, employment, social life, friends, relationships. We don't want everything that our peers want. There's just so many barriers in a way to be able to do all these things. The world basically needs to see that we are humans in the end. We're like you. We just see the world a little differently, think a little differently, and maybe act a little differently, but we are all humans in the end. Also, through meeting Heather and being at the DG Voice conference, I learned something about myself, which is quite weird and a bit strange to say, but I think it was the first time I'd ever really identified myself as being disabled or having an additional support need, which I think is quite a big step for you to finally decide that you have got that label, but that you're putting that label on yourself and no one else. But then it obviously made me a bit more of a, I want to say disability activist, which is kind of true. Basically a lot more standing up for rights of people who have disabilities. I mean, there is a whole United Nations Convention on the rights of people with disabilities. There's a whole convention for us. It's the simple things of, access to a building, access to information, access to transport. I mean, yeah. But a lot of it, I think, is attitudinal. It's people's attitudes to people with disabilities. Or it's their so-called beliefs of what we are and who we are and we're not. So, yeah. Now, some of you might know, but as well as all my volunteering work, I'm also an Open University student. I started way back in 2011 and will be completing my degree this June. 2018 degree will be complete. So I am doing a BA open degree with honours. Basically it means I pick what subjects I want to do. I already have my ordinary degree, but this year I'm doing my honours. And in my last 2 years I focused on research and personalised and social policy, so things that will be useful for what I want to do. I'm going to be honest, Open University student is hard. It's hard work. It takes a lot of self-determination, a self-focus and a self-belief that you can do it. But through forums on the website, through other social media, and generally still a lot of people I know, especially from the cafe and friends, I've managed to get this far. And it's so close to the end. I'm just willing the end to come on for me to finish. I mean, to finally begin the career that I know I'm meant to do, which is working with young people with additional support needs and disabilities, basically just showing them what's possible in life. So if you already follow me on Twitter, you will probably know that I have what I call 3 faves, which means favourites of people that I like and support. My 3 faves are Bowden, danyy-boy Hatchard, and Gemma Oaten. Now, I'm going to try not to say too much about these lovely 3 people, as I have a whole vlog dedicated to them. But in a nutshell, I basically travel all over the country to very random places, supporting them in whatever they're doing. But not only do I support them, but they support me and give me so much back. And they definitely have changed me as a person, especially Max. If it wasn't for him, then doing all my travelling, doing a lot of things I've done, I don't think I would have done. So thank you very much, Max, danyy-boy, and Gemma. Much love to you all. This year, I've added to my faves 5 to 5, otherwise known as the band from the band the musical. So we have Sario, Nick, Yazdan, AJ, and Curtis. So they won the talent show Let It Shine on the BBC and are now touring the country as 5 to 5 and the band musical. I just think they're amazing. They're so genuine, so sweet, so lovely, but 5 very talented boys who are just going to be amazing. And through them I've managed to meet a lot more Twitter friends and are continuing to travel around the country by seeing them in Liverpool very shortly. So that's added to my faves. Now, added to my 3 main faves and 5 to 5, I do also have 2 others. I have the very lovely Jacqueline Jossa, or Jacqueline Osborne as she is now. Keep forgetting that. So I supported Jacqueline from the very beginning because that's how I actually got involved in Twitter, and was through her character Lauren's storyline with her cousin Joey, played by David Witts. And that's how I first got involved in Twitter and really started talking to people. So I owe a lot to Jacqueline, and I may not always talk about her, but I'm always supporting her, and I'm really happy with her latest news that she's going to have another child to go with the equally adorable Ella and Teddy, who are just... But I would really like to see Jacqueline in a musical or in a play, and just something on stage. That would be really good. And one of my other faves is a fellow YouTuber and someone who I get a lot of inspiration from, and that is the very talented Carrie Fletcher, who is an author, an actress, a singer. She does a lot of things, but she's also a very honest and very down-to-earth person who I really do like watching her YouTube videos, just with how normal she is and how down-to-earth, though she's definitely had a quiet start to the year, which is good for her. And I very hope to be able to hopefully see her in concert or go to one of her book signings this year. So that is all my faves. So, I hope that you enjoyed that video all about me. There were some very happy moments and some very sad moments. But I think it's important for me to tell you the whole story. To tell you everything about me. Because all of my experiences, whether it be my heart condition, my dyspraxia, mum dying, dad dying, all my volunteering, all my faves, all my opinion, all these experiences in my life make me the Amy I am now. They make me who I am. If I didn't have all these, then I would be a completely different person. I'm very proud to say that I am who I am. I'm very proud to say that I live independently, I work, I'm a student, and I do all these amazing things. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, then please give it a thumbs up. If you want to ask me anything or just say anything, in the comments down below. And it would be really good if you could subscribe to my channel as well. I hope to bring you very many more sit down videos in YouTube in 2018, as well as hopefully continuing with my vlogs. So thank you very much. Goodbye. I'm back again. So just a little side note about future videos. I am planning my videos on dyspraxia, what it is and what it means to me, and what my faves mean to me. While obviously at the same time hoping to bring you a vlog review of the band The Musical in Liverpool, and a very special trip to London in February is all I'm going to say on that one. Bye!